I remember the exact moment my boss leaned back in his leather chair with that smug half-smile and said, "Francis, with that roommate situation of yours, maybe it's time you focused on finding a real family instead of playing house." My cheeks burned hotter than the coffee I was clutching, and I could feel the eyes of the entire accounting floor boring into my back as I walked out. That was just another Tuesday at Horizon Corp in downtown Seattle. But nothing, and I mean nothing, prepared me for the way everything would shatter 2 weeks later, when the police stormed the building with warrants and evidence bags. My name is Frances Callahan, 35 years old, single mom to my 8-year-old daughter Lily, and senior accountant at one of the fastest-growing tech suppliers on the West Coast. On paper, I looked like the perfect, resilient working mother raising a little girl alone after her father walked out 6 years ago. In reality, I was married to Chloe, the woman everyone at work thought was just my helpful roommate who sometimes picked Lily up from school. We had eloped quietly in a small courthouse 2 years earlier. No big announcement, no rainbow flags, just two women who had fallen in love in college and finally found the courage to build a life together after my divorce. Chloe worked in HR on the same floor but 3 departments away. We drove separate cars, arrived at different times, and never so much as held hands in the parking garage. It was exhausting but necessary. My conservative parents back in Texas still called every Sunday asking when I would finally meet a good man for Lily's sake. At work, the whispers had started the day Chloe moved in with us. "That roommate of hers is always around, isn't she? Single mom, my foot, she's got a live-in girlfriend." Promotions passed me by, team lunches suddenly had no seat for me, and my boss's jokes about alternative lifestyles landed like tiny knives every single week. I told myself it was temporary. I told myself protecting Lily's future and keeping my 6-figure salary was worth the silence. Chloe hated it. Every night after Lily went to bed, she would look at me with those soft brown eyes and say, "We deserve to live openly, Frances. This secrecy is killing us both." I would kiss her forehead and whisper, "Just a little longer, baby. For Lily. For us." That Tuesday, after my boss's latest dig, I came home to find Chloe already in the kitchen stirring pasta while Lily colored at the table. "Rough day?" Chloe asked without turning around. She always knew. I dropped my bag and pulled her into my arms right there in front of the stove, not caring if the neighbors could see through the window. "They think I'm some kind of freak for having you here," I muttered into her shoulder. She held me tighter. "Then let's stop hiding. I'm your wife, not your roommate." The word wife still sent a thrill through me even after 2 years, but fear followed right behind it. If I came out at work, I could lose everything: the health insurance, the mortgage, the stability Lily needed. If my parents found out, they would cut us off completely. I chose silence again that night. The next morning, the office buzzed with rumors of missing money. Large wire transfers to shell companies. Someone in finance was skimming, and the board had finally noticed. I kept my head down, buried in spreadsheets, praying the spotlight would stay far from my desk. By lunch, the whispers had shifted from my personal life to the investigation. Chloe texted me from her side of the building. "They're questioning everyone in HR. Stay calm. I love you." I stared at the message until the screen went dark. Little did I know that calm was about to become the rarest commodity in our lives. That evening, Lily asked why Aunt Chloe wasn't coming to her school play. I lied smoothly. "She's just busy with work, sweetie." Chloe overheard from the hallway, and the hurt in her eyes when she walked past me later cut deeper than any office gossip. We went to bed without speaking, and for the first time in our marriage, the space between us felt like a canyon. I lay awake wondering how much longer I could keep balancing on this tightrope of secrets before it snapped and took us all down with it. The following Monday, the police arrived. Blue lights flashed against the glass windows of the 20th floor as uniformed officers moved through the cubicles with clipboards and stern faces. My heart hammered so loud I was sure the woman next to me could hear it. They started with the executive suite, then worked their way down. When 2 detectives stopped at my desk and asked if I had a moment, I forced a smile and followed them to the conference room. They asked about unusual transactions I had processed last quarter. I answered honestly. Every single one had been approved by my supervisor. They took notes, thanked me, and moved on. I exhaled for the first time in 20 minutes. Chloe found me in the break room 20 minutes later, her face pale. "They just left my office," she whispered. "They know about the anonymous tip that started this whole thing." My stomach dropped. "What tip?" She glanced around, then pulled me into the copy room, shutting the door. I sent it 6 months ago, Francis. I saw the numbers in the HR files. Someone was stealing and I couldn't sit on it. I used a burner email. They traced it back to the building but not to me yet. I stared at her like she had grown a second head. You did what? Without telling me. Her eyes filled with tears. I was protecting us. If the company went under, we'd lose everything. I thought I was doing the right thing. Right thing. Those two words echoed in my head all afternoon, while I tried to focus on reconciliations that suddenly felt pointless. Colleagues who had ignored me for months now shot me pitying looks as if my roommate situation had somehow made me guilty by association. My boss walked past my desk twice without a word. By 5 o'clock the rumor mill had me pegged as either the whistleblower or the mastermind. I drove home in silence, Chloe riding shotgun for the first time in years because her car was still in the shop. Lily was at her after-school program, so we had the house to ourselves. The fight that exploded the moment we stepped inside was years in the making. You risked our entire life. I shouted. If they connect that email to you, they'll fire us both, and then what? How do I explain to my parents why two women are raising their granddaughter together? Chloe slammed the cabinet door. I'm tired of explaining, Francis. I'm your wife. Lily calls me mom when you're not around. We're a family and families don't hide. Tears streamed down her face. I did it for Lily too. For her future without a bankrupt company hanging over us. I wanted to scream that her noble gesture had just painted a target on our backs, but the words stuck in my throat. Instead, I grabbed my keys and drove to the park, where I sat on a bench until the streetlights came on, wondering if love was supposed to cost this much. When I finally came home, Chloe had left a note on the kitchen counter. I'm sleeping on the couch tonight. We'll talk when you're ready to see that doing the right thing sometimes means losing everything else. I crumpled the paper and cried until my eyes burned. Lily noticed the tension the next morning, but I plastered on a smile and drove her to school like nothing was wrong. At work, the police returned, this time with search warrants for the finance servers. My colleagues avoided my desk entirely now. The isolation that had once been whispers had become a wall of silence. That night my mother called from Texas. Francis, honey, I heard from your cousin that there's some trouble at your company. Are you okay? Maybe it's time you thought about moving back home. Lily needs a stable environment and a father figure. I hung up before I said something I couldn't take back. Chloe watched me from the doorway, her arms crossed. Neither of us spoke. The canyon between us had grown into an ocean. The press conference happened on a Wednesday morning. I watched it live on my phone in the break room along with half the floor. The police captain stood in front of the Horizon Corp logo and announced that 4 executives, including my boss, had been arrested for embezzling over $3 million. Evidence included falsified invoices, offshore accounts, and yes, the anonymous tip that had cracked the case wide open. My stomach twisted when the captain added, "We are grateful to the courageous employee who came forward. Their identity remains protected for now." Protected. Chloe's face appeared in my mind and I felt both pride and terror at the same time. Back at my desk, the layoff started immediately. Emails pinged every 30 minutes, names of colleagues whose positions were eliminated. By lunch my entire team was gone except me. I should have felt relief, but the dread only deepened. Chloe texted me from HR. They want to see both of us at 4. My hand shook as I typed back, "Why?" No reply. The meeting room smelled of stale coffee and fear. 2 new board members, a detective, and the interim CEO sat across from us. They didn't waste time. "Miss Callahan, your work has been exemplary, but with the restructuring we have to let you go effective immediately." The words landed like a slap. I opened my mouth but nothing came out. Then they turned to Chloe. "Ms. Rivera, your quick thinking and integrity saved this company millions. We would like to offer you the position of Director of Compliance with a significant raise and full benefits. You would report directly to the new CFO." Chloe's face went white. She looked at me, then back at them. "I can't accept that." The CEO raised an eyebrow. "May I ask why?" Chloe's voice was steady, but I heard the tremor underneath. "Because Frances is my wife. And I won't stay if she's forced out." The room went dead silent. My heart stopped. In one sentence she had ripped the curtain down in front of the very people who had mocked us for years. The detective actually smiled a little. "We already knew. The tip email was traced, but we also reviewed security footage. You two leave together every night." We just didn't think it was relevant until now. The interim CEO cleared his throat. Be that as it may, the offer stands only for Ms. Rivera. Ms. Callahan, your severance will be generous, but the company can't retain both of you under the new budget. I stood up so fast my chair rolled backward. You're punishing me for her bravery? The CEO shrugged. Business decisions aren't personal. Chloe reached for my hand right there in front of everyone. Then I declined the offer. I pulled her out of the room before she could say anything else. In the elevator she whispered, I'm sorry. I should have told you everything. I couldn't even look at her. The betrayal cut deeper than the job loss. She had made the moral choice without me, and now we were both paying for it. That night Lily asked why Mommy was crying. Chloe took her into the bedroom and read her favorite story while I sat on the porch with a glass of wine I didn't drink. My phone buzzed with a text from my mother. Your cousin saw the news. Is it true you're involved with that roommate? Call me immediately. I turned the phone off. The price of secrets had just become public, and the bill was due in full. The next 2 weeks blurred into a nightmare of packing boxes, job applications, and tense silences. Chloe's resignation letter sat unsigned on the kitchen counter. Every morning she would look at it, then look at me and walk away. Lily sensed the storm and started sleeping in our bed again, asking if we were getting a divorce like her friend's parents. The word divorce from an 8-year-old cut sharper than any boardroom decision. My parents flew in unannounced on a Friday night. My mother took one look at Chloe carrying Lily's backpack and said, So this is the woman who ruined your life. Chloe set the bag down gently and replied, I'm the woman who loves your daughter and your granddaughter more than anything. My father wouldn't even come inside. They offered to take Lily back to Texas, just until things settle. I refused. That refusal cost me the last thread of financial support they had been sending monthly. Chloe watched the whole scene from the doorway, her face calm but her hands trembling. Later she whispered, You chose us. Thank you. I wanted to scream that I had no choice left. Job interviews went nowhere. We saw the news about Horizon. One hiring manager said awkwardly, The whistleblower's partner, right? We're looking for a more traditional team fit. Translation: We don't want drama. Chloe started freelancing from home, but the income barely covered groceries. Nights became battlegrounds of whispered arguments. You should have taken the job, I hissed one night after Lily was asleep. We could have survived on your salary. She sat up in bed, eyes flashing. And left you to face everything alone? That's not a marriage, Francis. That's survival. I turned away because she was right and it terrified me. Then came the confrontation I had dreaded most. Lily's teacher called. Your daughter told the class she has 2 moms and some kids said that's not normal. She's upset. I drove to the school, heart pounding. When I picked Lily up, she looked at me with those big innocent eyes and asked, Mommy, why is it bad to have 2 moms? I knelt in the parking lot and hugged her so tight I was afraid I would break her. It's not bad, sweetheart. It's just different, and some people are scared of different. Chloe met us at home with ice cream and we spent the evening explaining love in the simplest terms we could. For the first time Lily called Chloe Mom in front of me. The word hung in the air like a promise and a threat all at once. That same week the interim CEO called Chloe personally. We've reconsidered. We want both of you back. Full reinstatement plus a public apology for the way things were handled. The company needs your integrity now more than ever. Chloe put the phone on speaker so I could hear. I waited for her to say yes. Instead she looked at me and said, We'll discuss it as a family and get back to you. When she hung up I asked the question that had been burning inside me for weeks. Why didn't you tell me about the tip? Her answer came soft but steady. Because I knew you would stop me. And I couldn't let fear win anymore. We sat across from the new board at 10 o'clock on a rainy Monday. Chloe held my hand openly the entire meeting. The CEO offered apologies, contracts, and even a joint promotion that would let us work in different divisions. We want to lead by example on inclusion, he said. I almost laughed. Inclusion had been the last thing on their minds when they fired me. Chloe asked for time to think. In the parking garage she turned to me. If we say yes, we're out. No more hiding. Lily will see us as we really are every single day. Are you ready for that? I thought about the whispers, the lost promotions, the way my parents had looked at us. Then I thought about Lily calling Chloe Mom, and the way Chloe had risked everything for what she believed was right. I'm ready, I said. The words felt like jumping off a cliff, but her smile made the fall worth it. We accepted the offer the next day. The first week back was brutal. Some colleagues avoided us. Others offered awkward support. My old boss's former assistant actually apologized for the gossip. Slowly the office adjusted. At home we stopped pretending. Chloe kissed me goodbye at the front door every morning. Lily drew pictures of our family with 2 moms and hung them on the fridge. My parents stopped calling, but we sent them photos anyway. Healing would take time, but it had started. Still, the moral questions haunted me. Had Chloe been right to go behind my back? Had I been wrong to choose silence for so long? Every night we talked it through, sometimes crying, sometimes laughing. One evening after Lily was asleep, Chloe took my face in her hands. I would do it again, Francis. Not because I wanted to hurt you, but because staying quiet was hurting us more. I finally understood. Love wasn't just romance, it was choosing each other even when the choice cost everything. Then came the real test. My mother called one Sunday. We saw the company announcement about you too. Your father and we don't understand, but we miss our granddaughter. It was the closest thing to acceptance we would get. Chloe squeezed my hand as I replied, "You're welcome to visit. But you'll meet us as we are." When I hung up, Chloe pulled me into a slow dance in the living room, no music, just the sound of rain on the roof. For the first time in months I felt light. 6 months later I stood at the company holiday party watching Chloe accept an award for ethical leadership. Lily sat beside me in a velvet dress, clapping wildly. Colleagues who once whispered now raised their glasses to us. The journey had cost us friends, family, stability, and nearly our marriage, but it had given us something priceless. Truth. Driving home that night, Lily fell asleep in the back seat. Chloe reached over and laced her fingers through mine. "Was it worth it?" she asked softly. I thought about every tear, every argument, every sacrifice. Then I looked at our daughter, peaceful and safe, and at the woman who had fought for us when I couldn't. "Every single second," I answered. "We still argue sometimes about right and wrong. We still feel the sting of old prejudices. But we face them together now, no more secrets, no more hiding." The price was high, but the reward was a family built on honesty. Was Chloe right to betray the company's trust without telling me, or did her moral stand ultimately save our family in the end? Right or wrong?